Hey, welcome to LearnLogicPro.com. Today we're going to look at automation. We're going to go through some of the automation. And here in the Arrange window I have an ESM set up, and I've already assigned some knobs to the ESM in a previous video. And we're going to talk about what automation is about and how you record automation and edit automation and the rest of it. So this may be a lengthy video. First and foremost, on the audio channel here in automation mode. Now you can turn it on and off by toggling this button. When this toggles, you essentially have a little drop down box. We have all the main automation: volume, pan, solo, mute, and so on. When you insert a plugin, say we've got the ESM here inserted, and you hit the automation, the ESM shows up, and every single knob in the ESM is available to you to automate. And this is how you can automate by hand hardware pieces. Now I've assigned these knobs in the ESM to work with an external MIDI source. In one of the previous movies I used a Remote 25 to set up this as an external MIDI source. Okay. The next thing you want to know about is where it says read here. Typically it's off. Okay, and you'll find that same button here. Find that's off here. And what you have is read, touch, latch, and write. Okay, so let's talk about touch now. Actually, we'll start with write. If you've got write automation, this is kind of like you want to delete all automation. It is the most volatile version of adding automation, and what I mean by that is if you've written any automation on this track and you change it to write and you press play, it's going to rewrite, deleting all your automation. Okay, first and foremost. So write, I don't usually use write automation. Here it's giving you the warning that write automation will erase multiple parameters. You know, it's better to use latch or touch, and that's exactly what I do. I start with latch, so I'm going to click OK, and instead of write, I'm going to change it to latch. Okay, and latch automation latches on to where the automation begins. So if the automation begins at 0, it latches at 0, and you can start to automate it. If you've automated something and you touch the knob, it latches on to wherever the automation is, and I'll show you that in just a second. There's also touch automation, which is the safest. This automation allows you to automate when you touch the knob, or when you draw something in. Usually it's associated to touching a knob of some sort, and if you touch the knob, it'll automate only where you've touched it. So if you have previous automation and post automation and you touch the knob in between those 2 points, it will not erase any automation, and we'll look at that now. So I'm going to go ahead and press play, and I'm just going to deal with the cutoff right now. You notice the cutoff is going, so I'm going to press play, and I'm going to record some automation. Now this automation is in latch mode. If I press stop, it basically stays flatlined. When I go down, it'll latch on, and we'll go up, and we'll continue letting this automation go. And so you can see I'm going to go ahead and just add some automation on a different level, and I'm going to do 2 at once here, both of them going. Okay, back to my cutoff. I'm going to press stop here. So now we have some automation. Now if I press play in latch mode, it's not going to erase any of my automation. However, if I jump on here, now watch what happens. Since I touched it, it will start to erase automation that's in front. I'm going to press stop. Because what latch does is latches onto the last place the automation was and flatlines it. And it's essentially flatlining. I press play again, you notice that it's not doing anything. But as soon as I touch it in latch mode and I press stop, it'll start erasing what's after it. So it is destructive. Press stop there. So if I obviously went to write mode, it would kill the automation completely, which we don't want to do. So let's look at touch mode. So you've written some automation in latch, you've got it the way you want, but right here at this area here that's flatline, you want to change the automation, you want to fix it. So I'm going to change this to touch mode. I'm going to press play from the start, grab my... Now it's going to play through this automation, and I'm only going to record automation when I touch the knob. Here we go. There we go. Press stop, and notice how it didn't latch on. We're in touch mode, so it will go back to where it's supposed to be, not flatlining it. Now I can touch in some automation, it gets back to where it needs to be, and then it links on. Okay, so touch, you can just touch automation in the part when you need it kind of real time if you want to go back and make adjustments. Okay. So that's how you can write automation. This is the write, touch, and latch options for automation. If you don't want, if you've finished the automation, you put it in read mode, which basically reads back the automation. If you don't want to accidentally hit a knob and ruin your automation, you want to make sure that it's in read mode. So you want to put it back to read mode when you're done. Okay. So we're going to go up to options here and track automation. Now there's some things I want to talk about in here. We talked about making settings, track automation settings, and assigning an external knob. But here we've got some other things here. We've got delete current visible automation and data. So the current automation that is visible is the cutoff. So if I was to go to that option and delete that, only the cutoff would be deleted. Okay. If I want to delete all automation off a current track, it deletes all this automation off the current track. Okay. And the next, deleting all automation data off of all tracks deletes all of the automation off of all tracks and any orphan automation data that's on the current track as well. You can move current automation to a region. We discussed that in a different video, but it is possible to do that. Say if there was an actual MIDI region here. Let's add one. Let's see if I can. Oh, here we go. Add a few in here. Now what I want to do is I want to move this automation and I want to glue it to the regions, and that's what that option allows you to do. Let's go ahead and merge it actually. Just a moment. So here we are, move current track automation data to region. And now it's glued onto that region and can be cut, copy, pasted as a region now. Okay. Here you also have move all region control data to track automation. So if you have region data, you can move it to track automation back and forth. Move all track automation data to the region. So that's moving everything, every layer, not just the one that's visible. Okay. There's two other things I want to talk about with automation, and it's tools. So here in the tools, we're going to go down to Automation Select Tool and Automation Curve Tool. Automation Select Tool allows you to select any piece of automation that's currently visible and move it around. And you'll notice it's moving around because I was able to select it. A nice feature is you can grab one of the nodes and actually move the automation, trimming it like this using the Select tool, which is here. You also have a Curve tool. So I'm going to make more of a curve, so I'm going to use my pointer. Pointer can be used for automation, which I talked about in the tool video. So here we go. So what I'm essentially making here is a kind of a sharp drop, and I want to curve that drop. Let me move it over here. So using the Curve tool, we can grab between these 2 points and drag up or down, up and down, or left to right, to basically do two types of curves. Okay. So the Automation Select tool allows you to select automation and move it around. You can also hold the Option key. Here's a trick. Holding Alt or Option and dragging makes a copy of it if you wanted to make a copy over and over. Here's another trick. If you had the Select tool and you selected all of this and you made a copy, and I'm going to make another track real quick, you can actually go down to that track and paste that same automation into another track. So think of automation as an editable layer that you can actually move around and edit. And that's track automation in Logic Pro 8. LearnLogicPro.com.